That day, flames had painted the sky orange. The Apache village was burning, and the townspeople just watched. "They're our enemies," they said. "Let them burn." But 19-year-old Emma Harrison thought differently. She jumped on her horse and rode toward the burning village. The townspeople shouted, "She'll die!" But Emma didn't turn back. And what she did that day made history. Because Emma didn't just save lives, she brought two enemy communities together. But to understand this story, we need to go back to the beginning. Hello, my dear friend. I am Ricardo Rodriguez, the narrator of Dreams and Destinies. Before we begin, I invite you to subscribe to our channel and tell me which city you're watching from. A big hug, and enjoy the story. The year was 1890, New Mexico Territory, north of Santa Fe, in a small frontier town called Red Valley. This town was very close to Apache territory, and the townspeople feared the Apaches. Emma Harrison was the daughter of Sheriff William Harrison. She was 19 years old. She had long red hair and green eyes, and she wasn't an ordinary town girl. Emma thought differently from her father. Sheriff Harrison was a stern man. "Apaches are dangerous," he would say. "They can't be trusted. We're here, they're there, and it should stay that way." But Emma's mother Mary had taught differently. Mary had died when Emma was young. But before she died, she had told her daughter something. "Emma, never judge someone by their appearance. Being human isn't about skin color, language, or clothing. Being human starts in the heart." Emma had never forgotten those words. There was tension in town. In recent months, there had been small clashes between the Apache tribe and the town. Once, town farmers had entered Apache hunting grounds. Once, Apache warriors had taken the town's livestock. "There will be war," the townspeople said. "They want to kill us." When Emma heard these words, she was saddened. What if they're scared too, she would think. What if they also just want to live? But nobody listened to Emma. "You're a young girl," they would say. "You don't know the world." Until that day, when everything changed. It was a hot August afternoon. Emma was riding her horse on the hill at the edge of town. This was her favorite place, because from here, she could see the Apache village. Emma would watch the village with curiosity, the tents, the people, the children. "They're just like us," she would think. "They eat, sleep, spend time with loved ones." But that day, something was different. First she saw the smoke, thin white smoke, rising from the Apache village. Emma frowned. "Are they making a fire?" she thought. But then, the smoke thickened, and its color changed. It turned black. Emma's heart began to race. "This is a fire!" The wind was strong, and the fire was spreading rapidly. Emma turned her horse and galloped toward town. "Fire! Fire in the Apache village!" she shouted. The townspeople gathered. They climbed the hill, and they saw. The Apache village was engulfed in flames. Sheriff Harrison looked through binoculars. "It's huge," he said. "The wind is spreading the fire fast." "We have to go help," said Emma. Everyone turned and looked at her. "What?" said Farmer Morrison. "Are you joking?" "No," said Emma. "There are people there. Children. They need help." Sheriff Harrison looked sternly at his daughter. "Emma, those are our enemies there." "They're human," Emma shouted. "They're burning." But nobody moved. "Let them burn," someone said. "They were attacking us anyway," said another. Emma looked around, her eyes filled with tears. "You... seriously? You're going to watch people die?" Sheriff Harrison put his hand on his daughter's shoulder. "Emma, this isn't our business." Emma pushed away her father's hand. "No, this is humanity's business." And Emma jumped on her horse. "Emma, stop!" her father shouted. But Emma didn't listen. She spurred her horse and rode toward the Apache village. The horse galloped fast. Emma's heart felt like it would burst from her chest, but she wasn't afraid. There was only one thought. I must save people. As she approached the village, the heat increased. Smoke burned her eyes, but Emma didn't stop. When she reached the village, the scene she witnessed was horrifying. Tents were burning. Flames had engulfed everything. Screams could be heard. Apache women were carrying their children in their arms, running. The elderly couldn't walk. Warriors were trying to carry water, but it wasn't enough. Emma dismounted and started running. The first person she saw was an elderly woman in front of a burning tent. The woman was sitting on the ground, crying. Emma ran to the woman. "Get up! Come on!" The elderly woman looked at Emma. She was surprised. You're a white woman." "Yes." "But right now that doesn't matter. Come on, get up." Emma held the woman and lifted her. She took her to a safe area. Then she went back. A child's voice was coming from inside a tent. Emma didn't hesitate. She rushed inside. Smoke was burning her lungs. She couldn't see, but she followed the sound and found her. A little girl curled in the corner, crying. Emma picked up the child and ran outside. Just as they got out, the tent's roof collapsed. Emma rolled to the ground. She held the child tightly. Then she stood up. She handed the child to her mother, but Emma's hand was burned. Her skin was red, but she didn't care. "Who else is there?" she shouted. "Who else is inside?" An Apache warrior looked at her. He was shocked. Are you helping us?" Emma turned to him. "Yes. Now tell me, who else is inside?" The warrior took a deep breath. "The old shaman and 2 children, but their tent is already burned. It's impossible." Emma blinked. "Where?" The warrior pointed. "The largest tent." It was completely engulfed in flames. Emma ran. Everyone tried to stop Emma. "You'll die! Don't go in!" But Emma didn't listen. She reached the tent's entrance. Flames blocked her way. Emma looked around. She found a blanket, soaked it with water, wrapped it around herself, and dove inside. Inside was hell. Fire everywhere. Smoke everywhere. She couldn't breathe. Her eyes were burning. "Are you here?" she shouted, but she couldn't even hear her own voice. Then she heard a cough. She moved toward the sound and saw them. An old man hugging 2 children protectively, lying in the corner. "I found you!" Emma shouted. The old man opened his eyes, looked at Emma. "You, who? Don't talk! Come on, get up!" But the old man couldn't stand. His leg was broken. Emma didn't hesitate. She put one child on her back, took the other child in her arm, and draped the old man's arm over her shoulder. "Walk," she said. "Come on!" They slowly began to move. The flames were approaching. The tent's poles were starting to crack. "Faster!" Emma shouted. They approached the exit, and right then, the roof collapsed. Emma threw herself forward. She pushed the children and the old man outside, but she remained inside. The flames engulfed her. Emma screamed. Apache warriors rushed inside. They pulled Emma out. They extinguished the flames with blankets. Emma lay on the ground. Her consciousness was confused. Her hands were burned. There were burn marks on her face. Her hair had caught fire, but she was alive. A woman bent over Emma's head. It was the shaman woman Liwanu, the tribe's healer. "This girl is brave," said Liwanu. "We cannot lose her." Liwanu applied ointment to Emma's wounds. She used healing herbs and prayed. Hours passed. Night fell. The fire was extinguished. The village was devastated. But everyone was alive, and the only reason for this was Emma. At midnight, Emma opened her eyes. She looked around. She was inside a tent, but this tent was different. It was an Apache tent. "Where am I?" she murmured. "You're with us," said a voice. Emma turned. The tribal leader, Chief Nietzsche, stood beside her. He was an old, wise man. His face was wrinkled, but his eyes were clear. "You helped us," said Nietzsche. "Why?" Emma took a deep breath, speaking hurt. "Because you're human, and I can't watch people die." Nietzsche nodded. "Your town sees us as enemies." "I know," said Emma, "but I don't see you that way." Nietzsche was quiet. Then he smiled. "You are a true warrior," he said. "We saw your courage. We saw your heart, and we want to honor you." Emma was surprised. "Honor me?" "Yes," said Nietzsche. "You are now part of our tribe." 3 days later, Emma began to recover. Her wounds were closing, but the scars would remain. The tribe organized a ceremony for Emma. In the center of the village, a large fire was lit. Tribe members gathered around it. Drums were played. Songs were sung. Naich stood before Emma. "Emma Harrison," he said. His voice was powerful. "You were a stranger to us, but you were not an enemy. You were treated as an enemy, but you became a friend, and you dove into the fire. You sacrificed yourself for us." Naiche paused, then continued. "In Apache tradition, the brave ones are honored with a new name. And today, we give you a new name." Liwanu stepped forward. She held a box in her hands. She took out a necklace from inside. It was made of turquoise stones. "Your new name," said Naiche, "will be Heart of Fire, because you dove into the fire, and with your heart, you saved us." Liwanu placed the necklace around Emma's neck. Emma's eyes filled with tears. "Thank you," she said. Her voice trembled. The tribe members applauded. They shouted. They celebrated Emma. And that night, Emma became part of the Apache tribe. A week later, Emma returned to town. When the townspeople saw her, they were shocked. Emma's hands were bandaged. There were burn marks on her face and around her neck, an Apache necklace. Sheriff Harrison ran to his daughter. "Emma, my God, you... Emma looked at her father. "I'm fine, Father." "But you went to that village. I told you not to go." Emma nodded. "I know, but I had to go." Sheriff Harrison looked at his daughter's hands. They were bandaged. "You got hurt." "Yes, but I saved lives." The townspeople gathered. Some applauded Emma. "Hero," they said, but some thought differently. "She helped the Apaches," they said. "She's not on our side." Sheriff Harrison raised his hand. "Enough." Emma, what she did was right. She helped people, and I am proud of her. Emma smiled. She hugged her father. But Emma knew that some people would never forgive her. Months passed. The bond between Emma and the Apache tribe grew stronger. Emma would often visit the village. She would teach them English. They would teach her the Apache language. And one day, something happened. Tribal leader Naich made Emma an offer. "Emma," he said, "you became a bridge between two worlds. You are white, but in your heart, you're Apache. And I want to ask you a favor." "What?" asked Emma. "Talk to your town. Make peace. Let's not be enemies anymore. Let's establish friendship." Emma nodded. "I'll try." Emma returned to town and organized a meeting. "People," she said, "I want to tell you something. The Apache tribe wants peace. They're not our enemies. They're people just like us, and if we live together, we all win." The townspeople were undecided. Some objected, but some listened. Sheriff Harrison stood up. "Emma is right. Maybe it's time for peace." And slowly, the townspeople were convinced. 2 months later, a peace treaty was signed between the town and the Apache tribe. For the first time, two communities came together, and the architect of this peace was Emma. Years passed. Emma grew up, she got married, she had children, but she never forgot that day. In 1925, Emma was 54 years old. The Apache tribe organized another ceremony for her, this time as an honorary tribe member. "Emma Harrison," said the new tribal leader, "you didn't just give us life. You gave us hope, and we will never forget you." Emma wiped her eyes. "I will never forget you either." Emma died in 1962 at the age of 91. Both the townspeople and the Apache tribe attended her funeral. This was written on her gravestone. Emma, Heart of Fire Harrison. Courage is stronger than flames. This story teaches us this. Heroism isn't just in war. Heroism begins with humanity. Emma could have done the easy thing that day. She could have watched, but she didn't. She chose the hard path and dove into the fire. What about you? Are the people you call enemy really your enemies? Or are you just not familiar with them? Maybe today is the time to be a bridge to someone. Because sometimes The greatest victories aren't won with weapons, but with the heart. Today, in New Mexico, in the town of Red Valley, there's a monument, a statue of a woman holding a blanket, running toward the fire. It reads, "Heart of Fire, symbol of courage, bridge of peace," and thus ended the story of a woman, of fire, and a peace. Remember, courage isn't about size. Courage is about listening to your heart's voice.